All right, Ben, you can go ahead. The Daily Dig, Ride Friday, Soaring Eagle. Ben, just keep sending repeatedly until I tell you otherwise. Hello and welcome to the Daily Dig. We'd like to start today with our first shout out to Max from Rochester. Max, thanks for tuning in again. Let us know where you're watching from and where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at any time during this broadcast and I'll do my best to answer them during the broadcast. And if there's anything, if you stump me, I'll do my best to then answer the question in the comments below at the end of the video. This is the Daily Dig, every Wednesday and Friday at 1:30 p.m. right here on Facebook Live, where we go over construction equipment and how we've taken construction equipment and concepts and have turned them into rides. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite rides in a park. It's the one that you could see from miles away. It's the Soaring Eagle zipline, because today is Ride Friday, my favorite day of the week. Now, we've used many construction concepts in order to make this a ride in this construction theme park. So we're going to go over some of these concepts and some of these systems and how, using construction concepts, we now have a zip line. Up there you can see the cart. 2 people can sit in that, but a lot goes into it before you get to zip up to the top. First of all, we have our giant tower right there. That tower is 130 feet tall. That's really, really high. When you go to the top of it, you can actually see the skyline of Philadelphia. It's incredible. And you have a great view of the surrounding areas. You can see the Pine Barrens, the trees. You can see some of the residential and industrial complexes nearby. There's a lot you can see from there. Now, this tower is in 4 sections, 3 main sections and 1 smaller section up top. Now, those sections are connected with nuts and bolts. They are holding this whole thing together. Now, the tower, even though it's made of steel, it has some sway to it. So how do we stop it from shaking back and forth? Well, all around the tower, you'll see in 4 different spots, we have these wire ropes, which are known as guy wires. They're hooked into these concrete footings here on the ground with turnbuckles to make them nice and tight. As part of our daily inspections, we need to inspect and make sure everything here is really nice and tight. That way we see when the cart gets to the top, that tower, it's not swaying. It's got a little bit of sway, but it's not shaking from back and forth. It gives a nice, smooth ride. Now, this ride actually runs on a wire rope cable. It runs on a main cable that supports all the weight. But in order to propel it forward and backwards, and we'll look at that when we get to the other side of it, we actually have a guide wire that brings us back and forth. It works like a laundry line, pulling it back and forth. We'll look at that in a moment. But let's take a look at some of the other footings out here. We have our main footing here. This is a giant concrete pad. This acts as the counterweight to the tower to stop the swaying, and this is the most important one, as the entire load is on the other side. And you can see we actually have a winch with a cable hooked up here. That's how we got that guy wire hooked up, the main cable hooked up to this to the tower. On top of the tower, we actually have pulleys. Pulleys are a great system. You can see them on laundry lines. That's what brings the whole unit forward and backward. But this is just the highest point. we're gonna go for a ride at the end of the video, so stay tuned because you're gonna take a ride with me in the video. We're gonna go to the other side and see our friend Ben, our operator who's always with us. He's the one who's actually running right now, but he's all the way 700 feet on the other side of the park. So we're gonna get there, and walking would take too long, so you're gonna hop in this rock soar here with me, and we're gonna take a ride quickly over to the other side of the park to see Ben go for a ride. So hop on in. Let's buckle up. All right, and here we go to see Ben on the other side of the park. So for our faithful viewers, some of this will look familiar to you. We're going by the big diggers, which we saw on a previous episode. We talked all about excavators. You also see from previous Ride Fridays, we're about to hit 3 in a row. We got our Sky Shuttle, our Spin Dizzy, and our Dig Around. All previous Ride Fridays where we've taken construction equipment and have turned them into rides. All right, so here we go through the park on the way to the Soaring Eagle, right to the base platform. We're gonna have a little wind, so bear with us as we make our approach. Go past the elevation station, increase speed. Other entries on Ride Friday. Through our courtyard, got our new tables for our water park. You see dumper trucks from previous episodes. And here we are at the base station. This is where everyone gets on and off, and this is where Ben's controlling the ride from. All right, so here we are at the base platform of the Soaring Eagle, and we have Ben with us. Hey, Ben, operating the ride for us. All right, come on in, guys. Let's take a look. So like many of our rides, we need an operator at the controls in order to make it work. So as Ben brings the basket back in, or the chair, with our test rider Digger Bear, he's going to park it right there. You guys come. I'd like to give a few shout outs to people who are watching. Greg's watching from Pennsylvania. He said he's been to Diggerland. It's an awesome place. Well, thanks, Greg. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Chris is watching. He uses heavy machinery daily, and he'd come to this place any day of the week. Well, thank you for watching. Gail hopes to make our park part of her summer vacation. Thanks, Gail. We appreciate that. We hope to see you here this summer. And you'll have to check out our brand new swimming pool at the Water Main. We have slides. We have what's called the Rip Rap Run, an inflatable obstacle course that we just installed today. So Anthony from Boston wants to know, how fast does this go? Great question, Anthony. At top speed, this goes 29.5 miles per hour. Now, it's not as fast as your car, but when you're 130 feet up, 29.5 miles per hour seems pretty fast. So let's go take a look at some of the things around the Soaring Eagle. So we have our seat here. 2 people can sit there. We see Digger Bear looking happy, always a great test rider. We have our control panel where Ben actually has his computer interface where it gives him all kinds of readings and tells him how the machine's running, the health of the machine, and to make sure that everything's all good before he ever sends the car. In fact, this machine has a lot of logic built into it. He can't even send the car until he goes through a series of checking seatbelts and belts and making sure all the straps and everything are in the proper location. Now, why don't you guys come down here with me for a behind-the-scenes tour. This is what most people don't get to see. Standing in the queue line, you can see some of it, but we're going to show you some of the concepts. Just watch your step down here. We're going to show you some of the concepts and how this works. So that main cable that the cart's running on that we saw start all the way at the top tower, it actually comes right down here and terminates. This is the end of it right here. And then up top, we actually see the guide cables. They're coming to this motor right here. And like I said, this motor is working like a laundry line. It's a giant pulley. It pulls you one way, and then it changes direction and pulls you in the opposite direction. So this is the force, this is the power. It's an electrically driven motor. We always, I like to talk about my friend hydraulics. Unfortunately, on this one ride, we actually have 2 rides in a park that don't use hydraulics. So there's no hydraulics on this particular ride, but we're using electrical power here in order to get us going. We also have some of our rollers to make sure that all the wire rope stays in the right place. Now, a lot of people like to call this cable, but it's a rope. It's called wire rope. It's got strands and wires that compose the entire thing. So we have our pulley system, and we actually have some sensors on the upper pulleys. It actually counts and that's how it measures how far back you're going. The computer's always verifying the distance. So why don't we watch the motor in action? Ben, go ahead and send it again. So you see, as soon as Ben gives a signal, the computer makes sure everything's okay, it releases a brake. That's the clicking you just heard. And now let's watch that motor spin. We like to say hi to David, who's watching from Binghamton, New York. Hey, David, how you doing? Kathy loves Diggerland. Hi, Kathy. Andrea can't wait for this year. She has a membership. Well, we can't wait to have you here, and we're hoping you're going to be able to check out our Watermain Water Park. Heidi's grandkids would love this. Can't wait to come out. Loves Digger Bear. Hey, thanks, Heidi. Digger Bear, he's great. He's a good sport. He's always out there. So somebody wants to know age or height requirement for this. Great question. There's no age requirement, but there is a height requirement. You have to be 42 inches to go by yourself and 48 inches to go with an adult. Great question. All right, so now that Ben's parked it, we're gonna watch Digger Bear go one more time, and then you guys are gonna come for a ride with me. So we have to go stand to safety off to the side of Ben in order to watch this entire ride go. Okay. There is also, just real quick, there's a weight restriction. We have our scale right here, and we stand on the scale in order to make sure that everyone is of proper weight. You have to be 300 pounds to go alone, or if combined, 450 pounds. So before I go, I have to weigh myself and make sure that I didn't gain too much weight over this winter. Keep in mind, I have my radium gear on, so I am weighing in at 193 pounds. So yeah, well, looks like I actually lost 10 pounds since the winter, so that's good news. All right, so let's look over here. Those 2 white cylinders, these are the air brakes, that psh sound that you hear. The way that this stops is that when the vehicle actually comes to the station, it grabs the braking disc right here and it pulls actually air cylinders up and down in these cylinders, and the whole braking mechanism is made by air displacement. Another form of mechanics at work with this construction ride here. And we're gonna stand off to the side here. I wanna make sure everyone's safe, and then Ben's gonna send it one more time, and then we're gonna take a ride. You can see, as Digger Bear and the cart go backwards, the brake stopper stays right here. You actually see the cables raising up as the weight transfers towards the back. The Digger Bear is about to do a 1,400-foot round trip before he comes back here to the station. You have to check out once it hits the braking mechanism. You're going to hear a whoosh as the air gets displaced and stops the vehicle. All right, Kathy's watching from Florida. Her grandkids love going here, and she actually has rode this ride. Well, Kathy, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you rode this ride. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Ryan says hi from East Meadow. Hi, Ryan. Thank you for watching. Ryan, why don't you watch at me as the vehicle comes in and hits the brakes? Let's listen for that air displacement. Awesome. Dee likes our sunshades and misting stations. Thanks, Dee. Yeah, it's a great way to cool down. It's been kind of chilly here, but today the weather's gotten really nice. So thank you for your question. All right, so be sure. Kathy says Digger Bear needs a GoPro camera. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. But you guys are actually gonna take a point of view ride with me. So be sure to ask your questions below. And when I come back in, I'll answer any questions that I may have missed. Let me see, I think there's one more. Kimberly wants to know if she thinks we'll be able to open. Kimberly, great question. We're just waiting for, it looks like the governor is has a rollout plan for reopening the state of New Jersey, starting with the beaches. Amusement parks are not included in that yet, but as soon as we get the green light, we are very eager to open. We will be following all of the safety and health guidelines. We have our own internal guidelines, as well as guidance from the state and from the industry, and talking to our fellow theme parks and our different associations internationally and here in New Jersey. So we're very confident that we'll be able to keep you safe when we reopen with some new guidelines. So let me take my radio off, and Ben's going to seatbelt me in, and you guys are going to come for a ride with me. Me and Digger Bear. I can't forget the star of the show. So I think I'm going to take over the camera work. All right. So this is kind of new for me. I haven't got to be a cameraman yet. So here we go on the Soaring Eagle ride. All right, so you guys are now riding with me and Digger Bear. And here we go. Ben has raised our cart. See him about to send us?
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
And here we go. So you see our brake towers, the rocks we just rode in on. All right, this is going to get a little windy. So our ropes course is 60 feet tall. You can see the surrounding area. There's our water main pool, some of our other attractions. Philadelphia off in the distance, kind of hazy, hard to see today. Here we come back in. Digger Bear's raising his arms. To the braking station. Woo! There we go. That was a lot of fun. But you know what? One ride's not enough. Ben, once we get parked, why don't you send us one more time? All right, you guys want to go with me one more time? All right, I'm hoping at home you guys are all yelling yes. Max, I'm counting on you. All right, Ben's sending us again. Go up, we'll take a look at the water park this time on the way up. You can see the new ribbon in the pool, the basketball, the water slides. It's still being filled up with water right now. Look at that view all around. It's beautiful in the spring how everything's nice and green right now. Just to look down. And here we go back into the station. Say hi, Ben. All right. Right there's a little foot pedal that Ben has for bringing me up and down in a basket. That was so much fun. So now Ben's going to hook the strap up and bring me back down to the ground. Thanks for riding, Digger Bear. I have to wait for Ben to release my seatbelts. All right. Ben, thank you for operating. Looks like we have a few questions here. All right, so Anthony wants to know, will there be a jerk when the ride stops? It's actually really smooth with the brakes displacing us, so you do feel yourself slowing down, but it's not tight or intense on you at all. It's a nice, smooth stop. Kimberly can't wait to ride it. Beckett in Cleveland can't wait to come back. Well, Beckett, thanks for watching all the way in Cleveland. Max, thanks for encouraging Digger Bear and us for taking a second ride. Scott wants to know, Ben, do you like the ride too?
Yeah.
Ben loves it. In fact, you were the first one on this ride, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Ben was either first or second ride after we set it up. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. Let me see if there's any other questions. Kimberly's watching from Baltimore. Scott says cool brakes. It looks like that's it for the questions. So we thank you guys for tuning in to the Daily Dig. Watch us every Wednesday and Friday at 1:30 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. And if you want to go over to our Facebook page as well, you're already there because you're watching our live. We're also running a really cool contest right now with a word scramble. If you're able to draw one of the pictures and tag a friend, you get entered in a chance to win 2 tickets to Diggerland. So be sure to check it out. It's a post somewhere in this feed. And if you have any questions on a replay of this video, ask them. We'll do our best to get to them and answer them at the conclusion of the video. Happy Ride Friday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.